Welcome to River Valley Chronicle. I'm your host, Elizabeth DeRazio, and we're here at the beautiful location of Mascoma Savings Bank. And I'm joined by Raelene Robinson, their consumer underwriter, who's going to tell us about some wonderful green loan energy programs coming up that they have here, and some great things that we should really look at before the end of the year. Raelene, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, one thing that's really hitting the market is people are trying to make more efficient homes. And one of the things that people keep seeing is solar. And solar is kind of tricky to do. You really have to know how to work that into the equity of the home. But you here at Mascoma have a plan for that. Can you tell us about it?
Correct. We've recently rolled out a solar home equity loan, which is a fixed rate home equity loan product discounted 0.5% below what we currently offer to the general public for a typical home equity loan. So the benefits of this loan is that they are for solar improvements, and there is a little bit more leniency in terms of loan to value guidelines as opposed to a typical home equity loan, under the assumption that doing these types of renewable energy improvements are going to potentially add value to the home in the end.
And it is a tricky science to deal with because depending on the system you go with, there is an initial onset, but potentially you can make money back, sell it to the utility company, or make the house relatively self-sustaining, so it does have a benefit.
Right, and I think that there's just such a push these days for renewable energy and going green globally, and really in Vermont and New Hampshire, we've been seeing a lot of it, a lot of customers wanting to move in that direction. So having a product that can help somebody do that, and maybe even it's somebody that hasn't been in their home for a very long time and they want to make these improvements. If they were to go for a typical home equity loan, they might not be able to get the loan just due to the loan to value restrictions that are typically out there. So a little bit more leniency there, a discounted rate. It's a 10-year term, so relatively quick amortization, and the customers will be able to see that return hopefully by the time they're paid off.
And it's always good to have that option where you can own the product, because right now a lot of the solar national firms are doing where you rent the product. And really that doesn't add necessarily the value to your home. You really want to own that technology. Now it sounds, we know solar is complicated, but is this really any different than applying for a regular home equity or consumer loan with you?
It's a little different. We would require a contract for the solar installation from the installers, and it would have to be an installer that's on a list that we have, an approved list. So we had done a program similar to this with Vital Communities, and it was relatively well received. And so we have a list of installers that they had already approved, and we're going to be using that to start with and just see what we get for a response, and might add people to the list later on. But pretty much it's other than needing the contract, it's the same process for a regular home equity.
That's good. And getting to home equities as we come to year end, really a home equity loan is a great thing sometimes for tax purposes, but really for consolidation or maybe those last minute home improvement projects. What do you suggest to people thinking about a home equity at this time of year?
I mean, I think a home equity is always a nice to have for anybody. If it's something that works for the particular customer, if they have equity in their home and they can tap into it, it's nice to have something like that you can just hang on to and use even if you need to. Our home equity loans, our home equity line of credits rather, are a 10-year term, and there is no minimum balance requirement or annual fee. So somebody could apply for that and have it and retain it and maybe not use it for a few years.
And that's the nice thing, because a lot of times you look in the newspaper and you'll see these big splashy ads and you're like, wait a minute, by the time I read that, there's all these annual fees, so I'm really paying for my loan.
Right, yeah. So it's a really nice product to have. I think if it's something that somebody qualifies for, there's no penalty for keeping it open at a zero balance, and you never know what might happen, especially being a homeowner. There's always unexpected things that come up, and it's nice to be able to just
rainy day
write
fund.
that check out without having to worry about it.
And on the days it's not raining, you're going to use your solar energy.
Right.
And really, that's something Mascoma is wonderful about. Because you are mutually owned, you can reinvest back in your customers because you're not answering to shareholders.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm very excited to see what comes of it. And
I think you'll have a lot of response.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you, Raelene, for joining us. And if you're thinking of a solar energy loan or perhaps a home equity loan, you're going to have to contact Raelene and the wonderful people here at Mascoma Savings Bank. Sounds like they've got the right plan for you.